mics. But who needs mics when you have a politician who's used to giving, rally events talking to the masses of Bombay? So, and as a long-time professor, I've sort of learned how to sort of project my voice as well. The more important thing will be when the time comes for you to ask your questions, that you make sure that you speak up. We'll do our part as well. I should say at the outset, before I do some formal introductions, that this event tonight is being taped, videotaped, so that we can make it available to colleagues and friends who weren't able to be here today. But as such, it's on the record, and so you should know that any questions you ask, any comments you make, will be on the record for perpetuity. It's a heavy burden. We live in the world of digital media. So, I should also locate for you what this event is part of. My name is Irfan Nooruddin. I'm an associate professor in the Asian Studies program in the School of Foreign Service. And with a group of other faculty and administrators and students here at Georgetown, we'll be helping run a newly launched India initiative, the goal of which is to engage India through Georgetown, and hopefully for Georgetown to be a resource and a support for politicians, bureaucrats, industrialists, and others in India who are looking to move India into the 21st century and to accomplish its goals of becoming a world power in the near future. The students in particular are a crucial part of this, and I want to acknowledge without doing much, the students of the Georgetown India Dialogue who have been the ones sort of running around making sure that all of this works, and also Faye and Daya from Asian Studies who have done all the behind the scenes work of ensuring that we had chairs for you to sit on, a room in which to meet, and food and coffee for you as well. So all of this wouldn't have happened without their efforts. Let me introduce to you our main speaker tonight. Srimati Poonam Mahajan is a member of parliament in the Lok Sabha, India's lower house. She represents the Mumbai North constituency. She is in fact my MP. That is,
that's the connection.
That is the connection. That is where I grew up, where my parents' flat still is. And so Poonam ji is in fact my MP, and it is a great honor to have her here. She has been in DC all week as a participant in the Georgetown Leadership Seminar. And as part of that week has been hearing both from Georgetown faculty and experts, but also going around Washington, DC, talking to those interested in foreign policy, and as part of her own personal meetings, meeting with people on the Hill who are interested in engaging India. So her range of events that she's been part of this week would be exhausting if I had to enumerate. I mean, she got off a plane on Sunday, and since then, as far as I can tell, has had meetings from 8 in the morning to 10 at night every day. So any complaints you have, don't tell them, right? Poonam was elected in 2014 in a major victory in Bombay. She unseated a two-term incumbent. The key to that was really mobilizing the youth vote. She herself, I think, qualifies as being part of that youth vote. At the age of 34, she is the youngest female national secretary of the BJP. She is both the youngest and the first woman president of the Basketball Federation of India. And she is clearly, in our opinion, and I think in the opinion of all those paying attention to Indian politics, a star on the rise, and that she is a name that we expect to hear about for a long time to come. There is one other personal connection that I want to make sure we acknowledge. Poonam's father, the late Prof Mahajan, was a very important politician both in Bombay and Maharashtra, but in Indian politics. And in '88, he was a participant in the Georgetown Leadership Seminar. So in that sense, Ms. Mahajan is a legacy to Georgetown, and we hope that the connection that we have renewed with you and your family is one that we can continue for many years to come. She has agreed to speak to you really extempore about her ideas about what she would like to accomplish over the years that she serves in Parliament, and also where she sees the current government. She is a member of the BJP, the ruling party, and so what she thinks we should expect to see over the next few years from Mr. Modi in the state of Maharashtra, from Mr. Fadnavis, the Chief Minister. I should have added that she is in fact the only politician to be a part of Mr. Fadnavis's war room, a group of individuals selected, handpicked by him to execute major projects in the state of Maharashtra. So her access to the policy levels is quite remarkable, and I'm going to hope that she'll be able to tell us about what we should expect to come. After that, I'll ask her some questions, and then really we'll hope for vigorous conversation. I've warned her that, of course, at a university like Georgetown, all questions are fair game as long as they're asked in a civil manner, and that she is more than capable of giving back as good as she gets. And so, you ask, she'll answer.
Indian Parliament friends, Indian Parliament.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what
She
to
has
do
survived
and
in the
how
Indian Parliament, so in some sense there's nothing you can do that will be too rude. But we hope that we'll put on our best face for her. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ms. Poonam Mahajan.
Okay, there is no mic. We are so used to looking at our best buddy every time to, that comforting thing is right next to me and I can take. It's very well recorded. Thank you. I have to not think and talk. Thankfully, I have nothing on my paper. Thank you, professors. Thank you very much for having me here. Being a backbencher in college and coming to Georgetown University, wow. My father came here and it's his birth anniversary today, 30th October, like in India time, so it's quite emotional for me. Because he did work for country's policy, even for India-US relations. He had international connections where he could place India forward. So I've been seeing that since I was born and learned that. So I'm really grateful to Professor Nooruddin, who thought of me as the first choice when he took over. Thank you very much. So that's how the Bandra connection and Mumbai connection worked out pretty well. We Indians find our neighbors and we get the best out of them. Thank you, Jay Tirodkar. Thank you, Yash Johri, who's really been great support. At 21, I did not know much about BJP. I mean, I could see my uncles and aunts and people working with my family coming in. Policy, what actually you're looking at, politics, in what manner. Really, this young faces of India, we are rest assured that India is going forward. And I'm very happy to see Jay and Yash supporting us. Thank you very much. Ex-tempo, yes, that's our business. And I think any politician's business is like that. I was thinking for past 4 days since I've been attending this beautiful classes here. And I could not miss many, but I did miss today. I've been thinking that what should I speak to the brilliant young minds here who have worked so hard to be in this wonderful university and to take their agendas forward. I thought so much, then I said it's better I just speak ex-tempo and speak about me, because it's not like that. And when Professor Nooruddin took my name, there must be a lot of phones coming out and Googling, actually, which girl is this, and actually what she has done. That's how we have done many times nowadays. Google has been a great support for us. And yes, it's been hectic, but as Indian politicians, we live 24/7. Our phones have to be on. We cannot, if even it happens, though I'm in the city of Mumbai, but I did handle many calls like my husband is beating me, you went to talk to the police station, or I'm not going to vote for you. And that's a threat, very important to me. And I do wake up at 2 a.m. and try to make those calls and try to calm down people. So yes, we work 24/7 and we are used to it. I'm here to speak on about me. This country which suddenly looking, US or the world suddenly looking at India as a good ally, a good support, that something is coming up. India is coming to this map where people are pointing out and are curious about India, what this country is taking this forward. And it's all happened because of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We did have a lot of challenges as a country, we still have as challenges. It's a complex country, we take many policies forward, but complexity of every state in India is so different. I always tell my friends, after every 100 kilometers, the dialect and the language completely changes. And that's the truth of India. And that kind of complexity, I don't think we see it anywhere, which is a strong democracy. I mean, how strong the fabric can be, where every 100 kilometers, 70 miles, the language changes, the dressing changes, the dialect changes, caste variation, regional variation, everything comes together, and still we are a strong democracy. Just 2 years of emergency has been, if you keep it aside, but we've been a very strong democracy. When the Prime Minister came here the second time, there was more engagement from the US side to India, looking at it, that how India is going to perform. Because thinking about, I've been understanding a lot of lectures, and Frankly, the country is looking at China as a big challenge. Looking at Russia has always been a trouble. So how in those troubled times, India as a stronger democracy who looks forward can come forward as a good ally. So that's what I've been seeing. I come from a city of Bollywood, Mumbai. My voters are actually Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan. Bollywood Bandra. I don't know if they voted for me because they were a little hustled and tussled. If you just Google my name, I did have some problems with few stars because they were not following few rules. I would name them because I'll become famous, but I don't want to use that route. So yes, it's a very complex, again, a constituency which starts from Bandra. Anyone of you, I mean, are you from Mumbai, anyone of you? Okay, one person from Mumbai, two people from Mumbai. A big clap, okay, there are 10, 15. I don't know why you're so shy to take your hands up. So when you land in Mumbai, you see this beautiful Mumbai's demography of shanties. 80,000 shanties, and it's a little small runway which you land in and you just look around and you smell the breath of fresh air of Mumbai and you say, yes, we've landed here. And monsoons is worse. Yes, that's my constituency. That is my constituency. So the challenges are large. But luckily, in 2014, the entire thinking of this country completely changed. I see so many young faces who want to know what's happening in India. Being an Indian, I have never seen that. It never used to happen. I had my friends many, many years ago. Now everybody know my age, so I cannot even tell you it was just 5 years back or 2 years back. So many, many years ago, who could study abroad in good universities, but never ever thought of thinking of Indian politics, thinking of policies which will affect the country, which will affect our lives. Never. They just always thought after this, what kind of job I get in which city and how do I set my American dream well and just look forward. But the time's changing. For a point, because the country's demography is completely changing. We are biologically, if you look at it at the demography of India, we are the youngest nation and we will be young, getting younger day by day as compared to Europe, which is actually getting old. Japan, which is already old, and America, which has come to the mid-age, where the, I think, average age is between 35 to 40. That kind of age group you're coming into. That means the countries are slowing down with the manpower. Manpower in the sense the youth, the exuberant of youth, the thinking, the fast thinking, lot of excitement. Somewhere the country needs that kind of strength. And India, demographically, geographically, so diverse, but getting younger day by day. As you all know, India's average age is 27 right now, and it will remain between 27 to 30 till 2025. So we have a strength, we have so much of young strength coming together and taking this country's dream forward. Yes, we do face a lot of challenges. Now we have Bihar elections, people look at it and think about it. Are we again dividing people into caste and religion to vote for something? But when I went to Bihar, you know what the youth was telling me? Your government is not doing a good job. I said, what happened? He said, मेरे mobile का signal नहीं लग रहा. I don't get a good network. They didn't want to divide by, am I a Yadav, am I a Brahmin, am I a Bhumir, am I a Hindu, am I a Muslim, or anyone else. Actually, I want what I want and I need that. So the division which we were looking at politically, it's changing. It's really changing. And that change, we saw it from 2014. 2014 was this historical election. I'm not just boasting, we all have seen it. The historical election where the youth wanted the lethargy of 10 years of no policy, people thinking of country as a corrupt country, the practices are corrupt, it starts from down to up and up to down, left to right, south to north, everywhere. And somewhere we were losing hope that this country is young, we are getting younger, but there is this lethargy of policy. And you know why it's better to be a politician. I mean, it's not better, it's really a painful job and a thankless job, especially for an Indian politician, I don't know about here. But somewhere the lethargy was every politician, a lot of people asked me, why politics? Why did you choose to be in politics? Because I said politicians make policies which actually affect everybody's life. So politics actually connected to each and every person. It cannot run away from you. We cannot run away from you. So that connectivity was completely broken. We were damn angry. We were angry. We were so angry that we wanted a change and the change was not happening. change is a now overrated word with every election and every leader. But not even change. We want to do something. We want to do this for this country, and it's not converting into what I wanted. So that anger was coming out, and that anger we saw from 2013 to 2014 for the next general election of 2014. And it was wonderful. Coming to me, I contested the worst ever seat for BJP. BJP never contested, my party never contested that seat. It was the seat for a family. For 25 years, one family was taking that seat, and when the Prime Minister said, Poonam, you have to contest from Bandra, I myself cried for 2 hours. I said, oh God, my career is over, I don't know what to do. But then I realized my father was known for actually a demographic survey, understanding mathematician of politics. He used to do every time math of voting, how people will vote for you, how the trends will work. Actually, that he started in our country. And then I realized that that legacy I could not take it forward. And then I realized meeting people, connecting with them. For them, it was not a fight, let me be very honest, fight between a particular person or someone else. It was a fight of hope that one man and that party is trying to tell us something. And that hope was building up, the anger into hope was building up for 2 years before the election. It was not a one-night phenomenon. We really worked hard towards it. And in that constituency when I contested, a lot of people warned me, your career is over, you're done with it, you will be going back home. And actually, I was getting worried. But when I started getting on the ground and talking to people, connecting from shanties to Hill Road of Bandra, people just came up to me and told me that we really need a change and we want to be part of this change. There is a joke someone sent me the other day, a politician is saying, do anybody want a change? So everybody could raise their hand up. I mean, it comes on the WhatsApp. And then again the politician asked, do you want to be part of the change? Anybody wants to make a change? Everybody was silent and quiet. But it was not like that. It was not just a voice, the echo of we want change, but yes, we want to be part of this change. And that's why this all, different voices came out as an echo that we would like to be part of this country's system, the change. And the results were wonderful. I mean, this constituency where I contested from, my dear friend Priya Dutt, who was contesting against me, and she's a good friend of mine. We had a friendly fight. She's always won by, our constituency is of almost 2 million voters. That's like 4 congressmen together. But not that powerful though. My opponent always used to win by 2 lakh votes, 3 lakh votes. And I was already minus 3 lakh, 300,000 votes. So I did not know how to cope up with that. But slowly when I started connecting with people, connecting with their ideas, as a Mumbaiker, what I feel about my city, how I can work on the sustainable development of the city, how I look at my city, in everything, people thought I was making sense. Thank God, sometimes they believe politicians make sense. And that converted into, God willingly, a great victory. And that great victory has been a great support to me. So, I won the election. I reached the parliament first time. I enter, my dream come true, it looks beautiful. And the Prime Minister came, he spoke wonderfully. And he gave his ideas to our MPs, members of parliament, telling us that what he is looking at this country with his points. When I was listening to him, I realized that is a hell lot of work. And that's a hell lot of pressure on us. My grandmother, because always used to, when we used to eat our dinner, and she always used to tell us to take our plate up, put in the sink, and clean your table. And if you don't do it, she says it gets dried up and it takes a lot of time to scrub it out. So my grandmother always used to say, if for so many years, I always had that analogy, for so many years, we let that dirt and garbage be set on that table. We never thought, let's clean it up and go forward. And it's always been there. Now, scrubbing that thing out, the belief of people which was there, but still expectations were so high, and meeting those expectations, that is a very strong job. A lot of people made fun of a lot of ideas, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Now it's a very small thing, but it's a very important thing to actually shake your conscience. I have seen a lot of young college students here They're wonderful at their college, they drink a cup of coffee, throw their cup in the paper cup, or where you have to do the recycling bin. It doesn't happen in India at all. The same boys even have their parties at night and they know where to throw their bottles on ground, corner of the road, and they then question, we didn't have a dustbin. So it's always blaming each other. It's a small example, but it's always blaming each other for the country's failure. And then suddenly, this small little Clean Up India, Swachh Bharat came up. And I'm telling you, the wonderful support we got from people. Yes, we are not there yet, as yet. We are not even at half there. But at least the conscience of the people, that we are really, the conscience of the government is trying to say that we want to do something. Maybe this little small part of it, but we want to do it. Digital India. My father always said India is the largest democracy. But the democracy, people always decide it's a labor-based democracy, it's this democracy. China decided their country's fabric and they decided what kind of country is this. But our beautiful democracy is a very intelligent democracy. We have brains. Isn't that amazing? Because that's what is being used. And we always say we have very less people in this country and they're doing very well. I mean, I go to the valley in California, I feel, oh God, I'm back in my country. And those people actually created that strength of Digital India. And that power of our country, again coming back together and connecting the fabric with every point of view the Prime Minister was making was very, very important. We are a young government, we're just a baby, not even a toddler. We are moving forward. But yes, we're doing a good progress. Coming back to my constituency. As a politician, people speak well. You might say, okay, she did okay. People will say, okay, fine, she spoke from her heart. I'll always have a mixed reaction. But what do I do on ground is very important. For me, Mumbai has been, it's a dream city. It's a wonderful city. I always go, actually my favorite city is New York, though I love Mumbai. Because I have always been traveling around, all of we travel around, we see the connect of our city to these financial capitals and to connect with it and how to take it forward. Mumbai is a hodgepodge, is always connected. A lot of people coming in Mumbai, we don't have good infrastructure, nothing happening yet. The Mumbai's public transport system is actually wonderful, but not there as yet. So then when the Maharashtra government came in power and the youngest chief minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, started his work. I told him, sir, why don't we start a war room specially, get the best interns, get our secretaries of every department, get them together and aim 25 projects for next 5 years. And work on those infrastructure projects with their dates and final dates, how do we take it forward, what kind of work we can do towards it. And that dream became a reality. We have 4 metros going on, we are dot on time with bureaucracy, it's really shocking. We are dot, because you need a leader to take the bureaucracy forward. We are dot on time. We are working on our projects with Metro 3, Metro 4, Metro 5. We are working, making Mumbai as an international financial services hub. We have already taken a place at BKC, you might be knowing Bandra-Kurla complex. We're making a beautiful building there, not now, 3 years down the line. We are working towards it. We're connecting the entire Mumbai's frame. Mumbai is not only South Bombay or Bandra or maybe Kandivali and Borivali. Mumbai grows as a Mumbai metropolitan region, which is very, very large region. And making that region, because country's strength, I always say we are proper rail people. We follow Indian Railway quite well and it's never on time. But the engine drives the rail. And the engine is very important to drive any ideas forward. And Mumbai is the commercial capital of our country, and that's the engine driving the country forward. Almost 30% of the country's GDP comes to country. It comes from Mumbai's taxpayers. And if Mumbai does not get anything back, what we are doing with our capacity, we want to increase the capacity more to help the country in education, healthcare, infrastructure. We cannot do it. So that driving engine needs a little oiling, needs a lot of strength, needs a little refurbishment. And we are working towards it. And that strength, we are taking it forward. We are now 1.5-year-old government, putting those ideas, points forward. We are doing a good progress. Any one of you come to Mumbai, I would love to have you in Mumbai to show you how we work in the war room, what kind of promises we set and what kind of work we take it forward is very important. That happened with my work. I'm here to connect with the idea of India, how people look at India right now. The students here, the community here, how they want from India. As I've said, this democracy is going to flourish day by day. The policy is going to work day by day. We are and we have decided that what we want as this country and how we want to give it to the world as this country, instead of trade, intelligent property, what we have to do, what the country can take it forward, we are always there. What we want is more support. What we want is more connect. When I entered in Parliament, I was proud to say that this is the first time it's happened. We used to have 2 to 3% women MPs elected in Lok Sabha, and I'm not a feminist, but I always feel there should be equal level field playing for everyone. And when I entered in Parliament, we had 63 women MPs out of 543. It's a big achievement for us. And there are 20% who are under 35. Actually, I'm not the youngest MP. That's the sad part. There are 20 MPs way younger than me, 25, 26, and I really don't feel comfortable sitting next to them. But yes, we have young faces, we have young strength, we are there, we are getting there. But the lethargy towards politics, at least it's shifting towards the hope towards politics, the hope towards our country, the hope that yes, I am part of the change, and I want to put a little bit of my something to make this happen. And that positivity, our Prime Minister, our government, us as members of Parliament are taking it forward. Me, yes, a bit of rebel, because sometimes my ideas sometimes are liked by the bosses and not. I've been very straightforward, but yes, that's the democracy, we have it in our party also. There are few issues, I always say that we should be addressing those issues, which sometimes we don't address, and sometimes we should not address few issues, and we hell-bent always are addressing towards it. But yes, we have a system in the party where I can go and speak to my president and tell him, sir, this is not the way it is. Sometimes we shot down how young students are shot down by their professor. Sometimes they're just taking it lightly. Sometimes they're actually taken quite seriously. But yes, this is the fabric we are taking it forward. I, as an MP, I must give you some of my fantastic examples. I don't want to take your time. I know we're already late because I was stuck in traffic. That's what is being told. But that was not the truth. I was actually sitting and having a cup of coffee. We were waiting for seats to be filled. You know how it is with Indian netas. We wait to see the seats to be filled. Everything has to be filled and the neta will arrive. And people will actually chant for him. It didn't happen. I told Jay, please say Poonam. Next time. So when I entered in the Parliament, yes, the other day I was speaking on someone gave me a generic topic of alumni of Columbia and Harvard all together in Mumbai, and they had a little program. And they called me. So they asked me questions. So how do you feel as a young woman MP there? And there are a lot of women in the Parliament. I said, I feel really targeted. So he said, why? I mean, you're a young woman MP. There are so many women we see in colorful dresses and trying to speak and putting their way forward. And I said, actually, the problem is, in Lok Sabha, we have kept together to show the power of women MPs. Literally flocked together. Now, I will be beaten up by my bosses because I'm putting this forward. When I entered and I saw, okay, oh, Miss Sharma, Mrs. Sharma, Mr. this, no Mr. Oh, that's Miss. So we were all together. And that was a day when I questioned my bosses. And literally, I changed my seat. Still, I was sitting next to a woman. It was not because we need to be shown as a strong power together or a number together, but somewhere the equal level field which we need. We just need gender equality. Women empowerment word has become so much on times now by Arnab Goswami and someone else. Unbelievable. That really words like a curse for us. So we don't need it. What we need is gender equality. We don't need some velocity going from Jupiter to India. What we need is velocity of our thoughts and velocity of our action. That what we are saying and what we are doing is very important. So we have a wonderful lot of people. We have different kinds of people. We as government make a lot of mistakes and we try to, do our best. Last time's Parliament session was completely a washed out session. I had a lovely holiday in Delhi because we had nothing to do. But yes, that's the power of democracy. Imagine, we are almost 283 and they are only 40 and 10 MPs of Congress are really upset with the party. So one is in Punjab, one is in South India, one has gone to Assam. There must be 30, 32 at that time. They make a hell lot of a noise when policies-driven agendas are coming. I'm not against any party. I have lots of friends everywhere because maybe I'll be sitting in opposition benches and have to get my work done. And they will feel, okay, Poonam was my enemy. It's not going to work out with me. But yes, when we look at policy which is taking countries thinking forward, and the policy paralysis is happening because we have a big democracy and anybody can get up and scream and stop you, I don't think that's the right thing. So I hope we are looking forward for this parliament session. I know, am I talking too long? Sorry. This parliament session. You can go. No, you can go. I'm so sorry. Take a photo when all are there, Chair. So I can send it on Twitter. People will see I have my sabha here. So, all these policy, we have spoken a lot. I'm also speaking a lot. There's too much of talk, too much of thinking. Everything is there. People are expecting it to be on ground. But somewhere the democratic fabric of parliament is shaking it. Though it's in Rajya Sabha because we don't have much votes and the politics happens. Or in Lok Sabha of 10-20 people shouting and not letting us vote, not letting us take our ideas and our reforms forward. But this time there'll be a different game together. Coming parliament session, we are looking out for bigger reforms for GSTs. Again, a land acquisition bill. We are looking forward for a lot of stronger reforms which will take this country forward and make a difference. Me as a little dot, trying to make a difference. I was excited to be here emotionally also, and I want to go and take the photos at the steps. You know which steps I'm talking about, at Georgetown. So when it came Georgetown, I said, oh God, exorcism of Emily Rose, that's the university. Yes, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm not that dumb, but I'm just trying to say, that is the thing to connect with me. So I'm so happy to connect the other part of Georgetown University to me also. And it's been a brilliant time here. We interacted with many ambassadors and senators. They spoke about their ideas towards the nation. And I like the idea, the way the seminar is happening here for leadership. And I request you to have some kind of seminar for Indian leaders coming from Asia, getting it together here. Because yes, when we look at Asia, when we not look at Southeast Asia or Mid-Asia or Southwest Asia, when we look at Asia, India is the strongest democracy, strongest number of people, 1.3 billion, 1.2 billion, and China is more than that. And now they don't have a one-child policy. Now there will be a competition going on again. So yes, we are looking at a country which is 1.2 billion young minds out of them. 70% out of them are young minds. They have ideas. They want to go forward. They want to be part of change. You want to be part of change. And I'm just driving that idea forward. I hope we take this idea forward. I have full faith in it. And I wish after my little 20 minutes plus over speech can make you have some faith in us, faith in our country, the policies to take this country forward and make us a strong power to ally with this global village and make this as one global village. And India should be the driving engine towards it. I'm sorry, it's a big dream, but very plausible and very happening. Thank you very much for having me here. I know there are many questions, so I did not put many points towards it. And I did tell Jay there are a few questions you should not ask me. But he was not ready to do that because he said, I'm in America, I can take advantage of that. When we go back, we'll see it, how powerful you are. So thank you very much for having me here.
Well, thank you. A couple of people might have to leave.
Bye.
Thank you very much for the comments. So let me just put one thing in slight perspective, if only for my own edification rather than all of you who might already know this. Poonam's constituency in Bombay is approximately 2.1 or 2.2 million people, right? The numbers in India are always so large and staggering that they somewhat defy understanding. So let me just put in perspective for those for whom it might be helpful. That is larger than the state of New Mexico. In fact, her constituency is larger than the 15 smallest states of the United States. It is 4 times the size of Montana, right? I mean, so New Mexico is not a small state. It is only slightly smaller than the state of Nevada, right? I mean, so when we talk about constituencies in India of the kind that Poonam represents, we're talking literally about 15 states of that size in this country. So the work that is done in the constituency is with only maybe slight exaggeration, not that dissimilar from the work a governor would do of one of those states, right? I mean, that's the size of the constituency.
So I need a big house and big car to go on.
You can use me for your negotiating team when you get
Wow.
okay, but so I want to start with Bombay. I've got a number of questions and it will cover, in a sense, from local to national. But let's start with Bombay, a city that both of us, I think, love a great deal.
Now it's Mumbai.
Bombay.
Yes.
So let's start with Bombay. Whatever you are in Parliament, a member of the Standing Committee on Urban Development, and you talked about these 80,000 shanties. And one of the striking things for people who visit Mumbai is, in that sense, the contrast between South Bombay, your constituency, but even within your constituency, Bandra, where I grew up, and the other side of the tracks, as it were. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening on the ground in terms of urban redevelopment, urban revitalization, and maybe in that comment, maybe connected to this large initiative by Mr. Modi about smart cities in India?
I've been speaking about smart cities since 3 days because it's the agenda which the government is taking it forward, and a lot of people are interested towards it. 80,000 shanties, it's really a big challenge, and we are giving 2,000 houses by this Diwali, and it's a big achievement out of that 80,000 because they've been waiting for past 20 years to get these houses. But at least first year promise, I could not accomplish it because we just started it. There are a lot of challenges as you've seen it. First of all, the challenges in Mumbai, now you cannot grade the challenges, is all about cleanliness and a proper toilet for every person for their households. I am known as a toilet MP in Mumbai. I build 1 toilet per day because that's what the agenda I'm taking forward. We have a lot of public toilets. As you've said, New Mexico, I just realized at least it's such a big state. Here we're living literally on each other. That's how Mumbai is. And with urban development policies from Bandra to these shanties, we have a concept called Slum Rehabilitation Authority. This authority, which was actually studied by the entire nation, this authority is based where we get these slums, rehabilitate them, and use the rest of the houses for affordable housing or for resale. So we are looking at as urban development idea where Mumbai entirely cannot be a smart city. What we are looking at is now 100 kilometers from Mumbai, which is part of Mumbai's metropolitan region, is Kalyan. 50 kilometers there, Kalyan to Nashik, how we are connected. We are making a very strong logistic hub there. We are making a big incubation center, especially for all startups, outside Kalyan, which is just 2 hours from Mumbai. We are building just a small little, out of 50 acres, we are building an international financial services center out of those 50 acres. So for smart city as Mumbai, we cannot look into as a smart city as my city. What we are looking at is as a smart transition. How do we make a smart transition of these model little models of Mumbai and surrounded by Mumbai and connect them properly? So that's how the agenda we have to look at. Because first, cleaning up the mess is very important, which I have always said. And we look forward to connect these dots, a financial center, incubation center, a center of excellence, everything connecting everywhere around Mumbai, and make this as a smart transition than a smart city at Mumbai. I don't think Mumbai can be a smart city entirely, but we can connect those dots and make a smart transition towards it.
So it's the CM's war room. I mean, since you're in that room, is this part of the agenda? Is there something you're actually working on? Is there something you could share with us about action items coming up?
It's an interesting agenda because bureaucracy actually drives the nation in every work and policy. And the bureaucracy is actually under severe pressure because the leader and leadership and this set of people, all of us, are actually work on time-bound policies and literally time-bound. And imagine for their egos, they're trying to control every time-bound work is a very big deal. And we are actually achieving it. There are a lot of projects we are working on, from making these smart transitions to actually, for Maharashtra, water security is very important in Maharashtra. And maximum farmer suicides happen in Maharashtra. So the war room is working on moisture security of Maharashtra, and we have worked on it from a small little dam to make with public participation to make a proper moisture security planning for Maharashtra. So there are a lot of n number of things, from urban development issues to actually rural development issues for Maharashtra. Mumbai is actually our core, looking out, money minting area, which actually can help us for our other social causes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question that might be a little sensitive, and you can answer it as you see fit. I'm curious about the alliance of the BJP and the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, and in particular, especially when we're talking about Bombay, the very important role historically in municipal governance the Shiv Sena has played. But one could argue, especially in the last few weeks, that the Shiv Sena has been something of a distraction with the Sudhindra Kulkarni incident and all of that. So, and there's also been a lot of newspaper reports that the alliance might have some tension with it. I mean, that they threatened to now say they're going to be in. How do you see the future of Maharashtra politics, of Bombay politics, in terms of that relationship?
If I would have been from Shiv Sena, I would have again told them, please say it Mumbai, because it was their agenda. Yes, we are very much together. It happens when you, in a married life, when you're together for 25 years, you're bound to have your issues together. Any relationship, why not? Why it's only marriage? But yes, we and Shiv Sena, we are together since 1989. We have different agendas to work on. Yes, we got together on an ideological issues. We have been together for a lot of other issues, and these things happen. The problem is nowadays we have larger media, even in India. It has to go on for 24/7. We need issues. And I have nothing against it. Thank God I'm not part of it, of that charade and that entertainment. But it happens, and whatever happens is unfortunate, but it happens. The government itself, not BJP, the government itself takes strict actions. The program which you're talking about happened. Nobody, disrupted that program. Nobody could ever do anything about it. So we are clear with our agendas. And these little ideological fights do happen. Sometimes you need attention. Sometimes you need some kind of conversation. So I think we should just, yes, we are fine.
So let's talk about something else. So you talked about that sort of moment in which you entered Parliament and all these young faces, and that's very encouraging. But it contrasts in a sense to maybe a more common characterization of the Indian Parliament, especially maybe reflecting really the US academic bias, of one in which criminality and corruption is rife, right? I mean, so the statistics on the number of Indian sitting MPs or candidates with fairly serious criminal charges against them is widely cited in reports, etc. Do you have a sense from being in Parliament whether this is something we should expect good news on, that this is changing in the way parties, all parties, including your own, distribute tickets? Is this something being considered? Or is, in a sense, really the Lok Sabha a world of two different worlds? One in which you've got a young group of technocrats like yourself looking to do this, and another group really that might have their feet more in the past.
I wish I could say it takes all to be part of this world. But it's politics. When we distribute tickets, let's start from there. We always look at someone as a winnability factor, always. At the end, we want to win. We do want to win. We are here to win and take our agenda forward. Yes, there are a few mistakes even BJP has made. I'm not saying that we haven't. And I still remember one particular person joined BJP with my father wanted him to join BJP. And then something really terrible happened with him, and he was involved in few criminal cases. My father told him, sorry, we cannot have you. It does happen. It's not concerning in this Lok Sabha, and it will, because we have so many social The activism in this country has now increased. People are asking questions, they're raising voice, they're using media, they're using social media, and that pressure is actually coming onto us. If someone on Twitter questions me, I do answer back, I do work on it. So that kind of credibility of every voter, every person whose voice is there, is accepted. So I would say we are completely changing any party, but it's very important for all of us to come together, and we should take this. See, people take a decision. Every party says we don't want to have criminal person. Then we categorize, oh, he's not under 302, he's not killed anybody, oh, he's not done this, oh, he's done this. There are political cases. Yes, there are little here and there classification of that when elections come. But yes, our party has taken a serious stand on it, and we'll have to take much more stronger stand on it in other parties also. We need clean politics. I think that's a very hopeful or very looking forward answer, or just a joke. I don't know, but we are looking towards clean politics.
Also, one of the things that often comes up in conversations about corruption is that India's public financing system for elections is broken, right? And such that, in a sense, a politician, given how expensive elections have now become,
Yes.
that a competitive candidate has to raise money, and unfortunately, the way in which you have to raise money might be to have to get into relationships with fairly unsavory characters. Is there a conversation occurring about reforming the public financing of elections in India?
The funniest part is the constituency I was contesting from was such a difficult constituency. People were not giving me money. I literally had a tough time. I was telling someone in the morning, I used to call people and they used to say, you've made a big mistake, don't call back. I said, no, my daddy's friend, please help. I said, no. Yes, but it's broken. It's broken in the sense, the expectation of people in the country is so large, and the way the system we run politically by any political party is really, really need to change, and we need reforms. We need every money which people also put in. I would love to actually take money from public, how it happens here. And then tomorrow, even as I've said, you can be part of my system. And I'm actually answerable to you. And I heard so many times from very different leaders from different parties, from smaller regional parties, that we have invested a particular amount in this constituency. I better get my money back. He never says that I've put in my efforts and I need to get my votes back and I want to do well. My conscience has to work on it. Yes, it's broken, it's fragile. But to take a call on this, we really needed larger reforms towards it. We do. We still have a large black economy in our country. That has to be controlled, and I think on the retrospective taxes, GST, it will come under control. That's what the reform the BJP is looking for, and I hope it gets passed this time.
So that's a perfect segue to my next question. So your father, as you mentioned, was renowned for his strength, his ability to think politically and strategically, right? As sort of a real sort of ability, as you pointed out, to count votes, to think about how to get things done. One of the criticisms made of the government, especially in the last session, is that it may have lacked, in a sense, those sorts of people advising strategy, that in fact GST and the land acquisition bill were, in a sense, own goals, right? That the government should have been able to anticipate and handle those better, and in particular the land acquisition took a party that had only 40 seats and made it relevant in a way that otherwise arguably it would have just continued to slide into obscurity, right? In the sense that this was a missed opportunity for the BJP. Why should we expect things to go differently in the next session? What is going to be different about how we frame the conversation about GST and land?
It's all about floor management and how your relationship with the parties and what kind of agenda you're setting and how do you get your vote done. See, that's politics, because we want to push our reforms forward. Every time we have connect with, from a parliamentary affairs minister, connect with every leader from the party. Land reform is more of a state subject. We did pass the bill, it got stuck, and we are again having a joint committee working on it. It's a very important reform where we would have supported the state. That's why the reform was done. GST had some issues in last session in UPA government, and we added few issues on retrospective taxes, where we can have actually a proper controlled economy. But it is up to them. I mean, it becomes difficult how to explain the agenda of opposition, why now and how long. So that has to be done by our party leaders to connect with them. I'm too junior to say anything, but I look forward this session to get best reforms, and that's the magic of it.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a crystal ball question, right? And Bihar, everyone's paying attention, and in a sense, the sense is that whichever way happens, it will be a bit of a earthquake, in a sense, in that either we have the end of careers in Bihar, or that Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah in particular would really, even though it's supposedly not a referendum on Mr. Modi, right, that this would be a major setback, especially for the reform agenda, as far as control of the Rajya Sabha is concerned. Could you think of both best case and worst case scenario from the perspective of your parties? You win Bihar, what should we expect? You don't win Bihar, how do you move forward?
We win Bihar, so we'll celebrate Advaniji's birthday with a lot of jest and happiness, because it's his birthday on November 8th. We win Bihar, it's a strength for us. But if we lose, it's just a part of the game. I still remember 2004 election when my father was controlling Uttar Pradesh, which is the most difficult state, and we came down to 10 MPs, and we were aiming 30. And the whole responsibility of election he had taken. I still remember in 2004 he came out and he told Dr. Arora, okay, it was my mistake. It happens, but we get up and we fight, and we believe that Bihar has said that maybe, I should not be so. I don't want to think what doesn't happen or happens that we will work on. But I'm quite hopeful from Bihar. As I told you when I worked there, youth are not divided into this kind of petty politics which is happening right now there. What they are looking at is, I want change, I want to be part of change. And I feel the way surveys are showing, because that's how we work on it strategically, we will do well in Bihar. It adds up strength in numbers in Rajya Sabha, yes. It adds up in strength for coming next elections. So one more state you have which can connect to center to work towards reform and take it forward. So we have chain reaction for every state. And I think that's a fair chance. I don't know whose career is going down. Actually, it's the Lalu Prasad Yadav's career is actually more on stake. Prime Minister is Prime Minister. He's the most popular leader. People want to hear him. That's why he's there. He's a leader of our party. So I think it doesn't affect him because he's very much right on track for reforms. It doesn't affect anyone in BJP, but yes, it's actually a career-based ladai of RJD. I think I look at it in that manner. It's not because they're opposition, but that's where their upcoming plan will be decided. Are they completely shattered and over, or they are actually getting into more fodder schemes, taking it forward? I really don't know.
Okay, I have many questions, but let me ask you one more before we open it up. We have a lot of young people here. We also have a large number of members of the Indian diaspora in DC who have come to Georgetown to hear you speak. From where you sit, both as an MP but also as a Mumbaiker, what sort of engagement are you hoping for from the NRI community, but also for our students, some of whom are of Indian heritage, some of whom are not? If they wanted to engage in a productive manner with the government or just with India, what advice might you offer them? What are the opportunities available?
Call me. I'm always available. What I always do, and we have started doing, is interning those people, giving them a right platform. I must tell you now, we have few ministers, they're actually officer on special duty, that's a joint secretary level. Our 25-year-olds and 28-year-olds studied in abroad. Someone was working in Bain Capital, someone was working somewhere else. So that kind of opportunity we are providing. We know actually the power of youth and their thinking. So first of all, call me, so it gives me also strength. It adds up to my strength. And it depends what you want to do. I would just, on 7th floor when I go to my lectures, I see these big photos of every student doing something in their own agendas, in Spanish, in Mandarin, they're studying in every language. There's no Hindi. I'm not saying put Marathi because I'm a Maharashtrian, but at least there is no Hindi. You want to connect with India, you have to connect with those 50 languages of India. You want to connect with India, you have to connect with states. Now I'm seeing, I recently met Ashoka Foundation's kids, and they are good entrepreneurial people. They want to work in India. Everybody are interested. And there is, in policy level, if you want to work, we can connect you with the government. Nowadays, yes, as I've told you, the CM's war room is, we have picked up the best of brains from the age of 18 to age of 30. We have that kind of young kids. So we actually, what you're interested in. The other day I had the Smart City Initiative dialogue with someone in here. So they were saying, we want this, this should be done, what's your vision? I said, you know the vision. What you want it to be done. Like, I'm working on an affordable housing project where Brookings are interested, and the Canada government is helping us through their pension fund. And the person who has his land, he said, it will take 10 years for me to go through your bureaucracy and red tapeism to actually get everything, though I have all this support. I said, okay, 3 months. He got all one way, yes, no, everything which a single window approach, tick marked, he's done. November, he's signing an MOU. He's supposed to give us 3 lakh houses by 2018. So that's how we are working towards it. I am working like that, my team is working like that. So what kind of engagement all of you want to do in India will be interesting. I mean, I want you to help us out to set something in Mumbai and get students from here to stay with us. We'll take them to Parliament, show them how it works, show them the CM's war room how it works. If they want to intern for a few months, we are ready to help them out. So what is your idea towards the nation? It's me just doing my monologue. But what do you want? I'm always available and we are there to support that, mentoring people. We are ready.
That's very exciting. You should know that Georgetown has made a formal proposal to the Prime Minister's office for help to fund languages at Georgetown. So when you get home, one phone call, please.
Fun day.
Encourage them to look favorably upon our proposal. We will appreciate it. Let's open it up to the questions. If you could keep your questions brief, but also make sure to introduce yourself so we know who you are and with whom you're affiliated. Sandeep, can you start?
Thank you, Irfan and Georgetown, for organizing this seminar. And Srimati Mahajan, enjoyed listening to your remarks. I'm from Mumbai. Although I've been living in the United States for the past 15 years. My name is Sanjeev Joshipura. I'm a US-India business and public policy consultant. So what I essentially do is I consult with the government here and think tanks here, as well as the government and think tanks there on bilateral commercial public policy issues, as well as companies on both sides looking to enter each other's market. My question, you've talked about policy, politics, governance, and it's been a very interesting, wide-ranging talk. My question for you is specifically on the governance part. One of the concerns from the previous government in India, Mr. Manmohan Singh's government, was that there was a policy paralysis, nothing was moving forward. This new government is actively trying to change that, and Mr. Modi came to power in part on that platform. One of the things that people are noticing over time is that apparently there is a centralization of power in the Prime Minister's office with Mr. Modi, Mr. Amit Shah, people like Arun Jaitley, Ajit Doval, 4 or 5 people at the very top, which is good in a sense because it really sort of breaks through the bureaucratic logjam, as you were saying. But the flip side of that is that you could run into a situation where the policy paralysis you were trying to avoid happens again because a few people control most of the decisions. So my question for you is, do you see this as being a problem, or do you see it as being a more sort of broad-based administration and decentralization of power where people other than these 4 or 5 can actually make decisions? Thank you.
Before you answer that, let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a couple of questions just to make sure that we have as many. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sushan. I'm a student in the Security Studies program here at SFS. And I wanted to thank Ms. Mahajan for being here. And I also want to, my question is basically addressing the elephant in the room, the beef ban. So there are many people say that these days it is safer to be a cow than a woman in India. So
wow.
Yes.
And I'm putting on weight and my mother's saying you're looking like a cow.
So my question is, do you ever feel a disconnect with these specifically Hindutva policies that the party is trying to explanation.
Did you tell her to ask this question? I'm just joking.
I knew it would come, so I didn't have to ask.
I was
Thank you.
expecting it.
All right, one more question for this round. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Amir Jalani, and thank you for being here today. Your visit is particularly timely and insightful for me because I'm in the process of writing my thesis, looking at the effect of politician identity and party affiliation on development outcomes for minorities and Muslims in particular. In India, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about what role you see for the BJP as it has evolved from a regional party to a formidable national party in terms of creating a level playing field for all Indians, including Muslims and other minority groups, and what policies BJP has introduced to bridge those gaps. Thank you.
So let maybe answer and then we take another round.
Minority. You know, my constituency actually consists out of 20 lakh people, that's 2 million people. 25% of Muslims and 10% of Christians. It's maybe in Kerala, not in Mumbai or Maharashtra. Actually, I got maximum votes from Muslims also and Christians because I just could connect. When I came with my party, my Prime Minister's idea or my ideas, I was quite clear that I cannot build a separate toilet for a Hindu or a Muslim, or I cannot have an agenda separately, a policy for a Hindu or Muslim. It's a one nation theory. We are all together, and sabka saath, sabka vikas. Whoever wants to make any, jokes on it, but actually that's the reality. And wonderfully, the Prime Minister had said when he was going for Bihar elections, and he said there is no fight between Hindu and Muslims. We all have to get together and fight the poverty. We have to fight so many issues. The problem is the perception created is what we see, but the reality is completely different. We have to, sometimes I feel bad that people living here, reading through news, and I have nothing against media. It's their job, what they're doing, lovely, fantastic. But reading through news, we actually decide what's happening on ground of 1.2 billion people living in that country. With that one breaking news. So that's why I really don't count, these are minorities, these are majorities. In my election, I was so happy that I could connect with everyone. And I'm telling you, that wherever I went, they said, "Is baar kuch acha karo, hum BJP ko pehli baar vote de rahe." That happened. Muslim communities told me that we are voting for BJP first time in our life. Please do something. So expectations were there, but actually I didn't divide them, and election was not. You saw the flock of people came together and got these MPs elected with such a big margin. It can be only Hindu coming out or few castes coming out. It was everyone believed in it. And I saw that experience. So I've been born and brought up in that thinking, so I don't see that. But in your thesis, if you want some kind of history and then now the reality, I would love to help you out. Please connect with me. Second, beef ban. I'm a pure vegetarian and animal lover. So my idea of beef ban is completely different. I was happy, oh God, animals are not being cut. Such a lovely thing. But really, it's not some ideological perception we are looking at. Yes, there is a case going on in Maharashtra. I would love to say that the matter is sub judice like a politician, but I know few things will strike down. Slaughtering of cows was always a law that we cannot slaughter cows. Beef was always a buffalo meat we eat in India. We never eat cow meat, and we are the biggest exporter of that meat. I know that. Being a vegetarian, it hurts me saying every word of it. But consumption and keeping was a criminal activity. That's what the government did. I was against that. I said, you cannot stop someone's freedom of speech, freedom to eat, freedom to go forward. We are not like America. Their freedom of speech, actually they can even burn a flag, their own country's flag. We have from section 14 to 25 very differently shaped up, but we are a free country. Are you eating good beef here? It's nice, the states are better here, but what I feel is when the case will go on, which is going on in the court, I think two things will be struck down. The consumption and keeping of wheat in your fridge, which is ridiculous, seriously. But as a agrarian country, what we are, and as a vegetarian, I like cutting less animals. And I actually met a lot of people at World Bank to stop battery cages. I mean, I am really pro that. But freedom of speech, freedom to eat, you are in a free country. You cannot be controlled by anyone. Just stay in control, that's for sure. I mean, live your life, do well. That's what I believe in. So we'll see. The matter is sub judice. Absolutely sub judice. PMO controlling. Did you see that happening, PMO controlling? Is it really, or it's just a talk?
Well, the media has been reporting on that a lot.
I don't see that happening. I love and I would love PM to control it because he knows what he's doing. You know, I'm one of the few young MPs who can barge in our finance minister's office anytime to have lunch in the parliament. And we get really good dhokla, by the way. We have so much of comfort talking to him, talking to other ministers, and getting our jobs done. It actually more of centralization, it's decentralization. The tough part is talking to bureaucrats and actually convincing them to get the file again back on the minister's table. I have seen that. I'm really sorry. I'm not saying bureaucrats are bad. Please, even the recording is happening. They're lovely. They're smart. I have to get my job done. They're good looking. The young ones I haven't seen. So all are brilliant, but actually it's all about getting that file signed and coming to the minister's table. I don't see the prime. Yeah, see what happens. You need something to discuss on. We have so many brilliant think tanks even to discuss on. And there are think tanks in media also that they should know what news to be pushing it forward. And if it is also the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, MEA, few set of people coming together, I don't think that's wrong. I mean, if they come together and put the policy forward, it's wonderful. If 10 people come together, I don't think we can have thousands of people coming together in India. And at the end, PMO cannot control everything. The ministry has to give a go-ahead. Every time the minister cannot give a call to PMO and say, "Ye file sign karni, what should I do with it?" Thousands of files are waiting. You know how much stress we are under. So I cannot answer the perception. If anyone has an example of it, please tell me so I can answer on that.
Let's take another round of questions.
Beautifully spoken, Poonam. I'm Ashwin Sabu from University of Maryland College Park, from Pune. Actually, your dad is one of my favorite politicians. Actually, I followed him very closely before the 2004 elections for the Rajasthan. Actually, where he got
Rajasthan was the best
was
study
his
and
portfolio,
service study.
and I closely followed him. So my question is for. I would like to know his personal equation and inference with Prime Minister Modi as well as with Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
That's a good one.
Yes.
I would like to thank you for the great talk. And I'm Amsha Kamar. I'm a policy student at Mumbai School of Public Policy. And I wanted to ask you whether you are at the forefront of Indian politics, and what are the kind of challenges you face as a woman leader, and how do you cope with them and still move ahead?
Hi, thank you. My name is Sarah Watson. I'm at the Center for Strategic and International Studies here in DC. Last week, the Labor Bureau released its quarterly jobs report for the first quarter of 2015. This figures show that it was the worst quarter for one of the worst quarters for job growth in the 6 years since the study's been conducted, and the job growth has actually declined every quarter for the past 4 quarters. How does the Prime Minister plan to reverse this trend, and how is he going to employ the millions, hundreds of millions of young Indians who are looking for work?
Let's take one final question.
Hi, I'm a faculty member in the history department here. I think I see some students here too, but thank you for being here. I have a couple of questions. One is actually I work in Marathi. I'm Bengali, but I do work in Marathi. And I actually saw a little bit of what you were talking about in Goa, which is where partly Solomon work is done, where for the first time South Goa also went for BJP won among both Christian constituencies. Except by the time I went back in December, after the elections, there was widespread fear among Christian communities. And quite legitimate, I think, fear that the right-wing agenda was being co-opted. They had voted for governance, but what was really happening was that the governance issues were being left behind for cultural issues. So I'd like your take on that. And within your own constituency, though you have a significant component in the constituency, including all three cons. But the Bangladesh government also overturned the 5% open reservation for public jobs and university positions in Maharashtra. So how did that play out with your constituency, and what is the rationale for
5%
overturning
jobs
the
too?
5% reservation that Bangladesh is actually overturned? So what was that about?
Reservation is a very long discussion to work on. First I'll answer Goa, right?
No, but also given your own sort of very diverse constituency where BJP won on government platforms, but the agenda
We're doing
is to
good.
be very
I mean, I would love to say we're doing fantastic, but I haven't done my after 1.5 year survey. I have to know where I'm going wrong. But we are doing good. We are doing good. The problem is, now you went to Goa. I don't know how many people you spoke to. Parrikar, the defense minister now, and then he was the Goa chief minister, was the face of people. We got minorities voting for BJP. He was the chief minister earlier also because my father was handling Goa at that time. Actually the minds are shut in Goa and they are controlled by a lot of different people. They are upset with the government. Agendas always, business and politics come together, clash together, and then it creates its own agenda to take it forward. I really don't know. I just went to Goa recently and I went to speak on first year of Modi government and how we are doing. Wonderful response. Being fearful through some reports, Goa has been such a peaceful state. Any one of us being there in Goa, Goa is a favorite destination for holiday, from Russians to Indians to anyone. So, I don't know, let me find out. I'm really quite shocked that Goa is saying something like this. I have to talk to those people, but Goa, I haven't seen, and so-called Hindu right-wingy activity has not even happened in Goa. I don't know what kind of question that was raised in that manner. If something has happened and people feel, oh God, it might happen to us, it happened just next door, I understand. But I don't know, maybe they are just resting too much and suddenly they need that sugar rush. I don't know, seriously. Goa is a peaceful state. Yeah, they liked Parrikar as a leader. Maybe the other chief minister is not as strong enough to connect with Goans. It will take time. I think we should give him a little time. My father's connection with Modi ji, I remember him since childhood. He used to come home when he was General Secretary. Good connect. But luckily or unluckily, my father never handled Gujarat elections. When Keshubhai was there, he had, but after that he did. But my father worked with Modi ji in Himachal. It was a fantastic, my mother and Modi ji are good friends, so whenever I go for his election campaign, I always say I've come to my Mama ji's constituency and please vote for him. So it's wonderful, wonderful. As a woman leader, challenges, who asked me that?
That was the question.
Yeah, no challenges, not at all. You know, biologically, women can do multitasking so easily. I'm not a feminist. I was asked a question like that, are you a feminist? I said, depends on my hormone diet. And that's how it is. No challenges. Because I was telling someone, in this country, for women to get right of vote, took so much of time.
Right.
We started it since we were free. And we always, and I was just coming here, before that I was reading something on NDTV, that maximum women supporters came out in Bihar to vote. Their registration of voting of women is 47%. Men's are 56%, but 60% women came out to vote in Bihar. The strength is amazing. And we have maximum CMs, chief ministers in India. We have Jayalalitha, we had Mayawati, we had Mamta, we had Rani Sahiba at Rajasthan. We have so many people now, Anandiben Patel. I feel we just make a big noise of it. Women empower themselves, but they don't tell other women to come with them. So I think it's all up to us. I don't find any challenges. I find challenges handling my son's homework. That's the big challenge of my life. I can give a speech, but that homework and spending time with him, that's traumatic at that time, seriously. And then he questions a member of parliament, you're a waste of time, then imagine, that hurts. Job growth's declining. You know, we have few reforms were stopped, which we were expecting it, like GST. We were expecting it to push off by June 2015, by August, and it didn't happen. The Prime Minister is being all over to get foreign direct investment in India, because we really had a very bad economy by 2014 when we took over. Literally bad reforms, lethargy, everything. Jobs declining, yeah, numbers showing. That's why we created an initiative of Skill India. So everybody have a job with his own skill with him. This was never discussed, never attempted to work on it. But we need few reforms. Labor reform, we are not there as yet. So FDI coming in, because we are pooling in a lot for FDI. And we have just started getting that together. And even I met Congressman yesterday, and he was saying that when is your GST coming? People are actually looking forward to it. So those reforms will happen. You will see how the decline is coming every quarterly. The increase will go quite strongly. And I agree to it, That's why these initiatives of Skill India, Jandhan Aadhaar to Mobile Jam are very important, how you be part of that financial system and work in the country. I agree with you.
You can see clearly why people think that Ms. Mahajan's career is going to be a long and prosperous one in Indian politics. She has an ability to speak frankly, but also to create authority on any number of issues. You can follow her on Twitter at Poonam_Mahajan. And for those of you interested, especially if you're not at Georgetown, and knowing more about the Georgetown India Initiative, you can follow them at Gtown India. I tweet at Irfan Nooruddin. And we have a website, GU India Dialogue, and that will eventually move to a formal India Initiative website posted at Georgetown. We'll also be happy to take your email information if you'd like to be added to a mailing list. We have a gift for you, if I may.
I have a gift for you also.
Very good. Well,
this is the shawl. The Prime Minister has given all of us to come out of our comfort zone. Every member of Parliament has to adopt a village. And I adopted Charoti, a village which is 2.5 hours away from Mumbai. And that's my passion project. I have put solar lights there. In 1 year, I have done wonders. I'm so happy to connect there, more than my constituency. People are happy. It's a complete tribal village. This is what these people do. There are beautiful ties. I'm going to give it to you. The bag is in your office, actually. So we have initiated women empowerment there. We have tied up with Anita Dongre, a fashion designer, taking a lot of initiative forward. So that also is very important.
Our gift is also very local.
Now what am I getting?
Georgetown is, a Catholic university, but I think anyone who knows Georgetown will tell you that its only true religion is basketball. And as president of the Basketball Federation of India, the Georgetown highest class, invite the Georgetown basketball team to come play in India.
Please, welcome. That'll be wonderful.
Please join me and
thank you so much. Being a backbencher in college and coming to Georgetown University, wow. My father came here and it's his birth anniversary today, 30th October, like in India time, so it's quite emotional for me. Because he did work for country's policy, even for India-US relations. He had international connections where he could place India forward. So I've been seeing that since I was born and learned that. So I'm really grateful to Professor Nooruddin, who thought of me as the first choice when he took over. Thank you very much. So that's how the Bandra connection and Mumbai connection worked out pretty well. We Indians find our neighbors and we get the best out of them. Thank you, Jay Tirodkar. Thank you, Yash Johri, who's really been great support. At 21, I did not know much about BJP. I mean, I could see my uncles and aunts and people working with my family coming in. Policy, what actually you're looking at, politics, in what manner. Really, this young faces of India, we are rest assured that India is going forward. And I'm very happy to see Jay and Yash supporting us. Thank you very much. Ex-tempo, yes, that's our business. And I think any politician's business is like that. I was thinking for past 4 days since I've been attending this beautiful classes here. And I could not miss many, but I did miss today. I've been thinking that what should I speak to the brilliant young minds here who have worked so hard to be in this wonderful university and to take their agendas forward. I thought so much, then I said it's better I just speak extempore and speak about me, because it's not like that. I mean, when Professor Nooruddin took my name, there must be a lot of phones coming out and Googling, actually, which girl is this, and actually what she has done. That's how we have done many times nowadays. Google has been a great support for us. And yes, it's been hectic, but as Indian politicians, we live 24/7. Our phones have to be on. We cannot, if even it happens, though I'm in the city of Mumbai, but I did handle many calls like my husband is beating me, you better talk to the police station, or I'm not going to vote for you. And that's a threat, very important to me. And I do wake up at 2 a.m. and try to make those calls and try to calm down people. So yes, we work 24/7 and we are used to it. I'm here to speak on about me. This country which suddenly looking, US or the world suddenly looking at India as a good ally, a good support, that something is coming up. India is coming to this map where people are pointing out and are curious about India, what this country is taking this forward. And it's all happened because of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We did have a lot of our lives. Never. They just always thought after this, what kind of job I get, in which city, and how do I set my American dream well, and just look forward. But the time's changing. For a point, because the country's demography is completely changing. We are biologically, if you look at it at the demography of India, we are the youngest nation, and we will be young, getting younger day by day, as compared to Europe, which is actually getting old. Japan, which is already old, and America, which has come to the mid-age, where the, I think average age is between 35 to 40. That kind of age group you're coming into. That means the countries are slowing down with the manpower. Manpower in the sense the youth, the exuberant of youth, the thinking, the fast thinking, a lot of excitement. Somewhere the country needs that kind of strength. And India, demographically, geographically, so diverse, but getting younger day by day. As you all know, India's average age is 27 right now, and it will remain between 27 to 30 till 2025. So we have a strength, we have so much of young strength coming together and taking this country's dream forward. Yes, we do face a lot of challenges. Now we have Bihar elections, people look at it and think about it. Are we again dividing people into caste and religion to vote for something? But when I went to Bihar, you know what the youth was telling me? Your government is not doing a good job. I said, what happened? He said, मेरे mobile का signal नहीं लग रहा. I don't get a good network. They didn't want to divide by, am I a Yadav, am I a Brahmin, am I a Bhumiyar, am I a Hindu, am I a Muslim, or anyone else. Actually, I want what I want and I need that. So the division which we were looking at politically, it's changing. It's really changing. And that change, we saw it from 2014. 2014 was this historical election. I'm not just boasting, we all have seen it. The historical election where the youth wanted the lethargy of 10 years of no policy, people thinking of country as a corrupt country, the practices are corrupt, it starts from down to up and up to down, left to right, south to north, everywhere. And somewhere we were losing hope that this country is young, we are getting younger, but there is this lethargy of policy. And you know why it's better to be a politician. I mean, it's not better, it's really a painful job and a thankless job, especially for an Indian politician, I don't know about here. But somewhere, the lethargy was every politician, a lot of people asked me, why politics? Why did you choose to be in politics? Because I said politicians make policies which actually affect everybody's life. So politics actually connected to each and every person. It cannot run away from you. We cannot run away from you. So that connectivity was completely broken. We were damn angry.
Mics. But who needs mics when you have a politician who's used to giving, rally events, talking to the masses of Bombay. So, and as a long-time professor, I've sort of learned how to sort of project my voice as well. The more important thing will be when the time comes for you to ask your questions, that you make sure that you speak up. We'll do our part as well. I should say at the outset, before I do some formal introductions, that this event tonight is being taped, videotaped, so that we can make it available to colleagues and friends who weren't able to be here today. But as such, it's on the record, and so you should know that any questions you ask, any comments you make, will be on the record for perpetuity. It's a heavy burden we live in the world of digital media. So, I should also locate for you what this event is part of. My name is Irfan Nooruddin. I'm an associate professor in the Asian Studies program in the School of Foreign Service. And with a group of other faculty and administrators and students here at Georgetown, we'll be helping run a newly launched India initiative, the goal of which is to engage India through Georgetown, and hopefully for Georgetown to be a resource and a support for politicians, bureaucrats, industrialists, and others in India who are looking to move India into the 21st century and to accomplish its goals of becoming a world power in the near future. The students in particular are a crucial part of this, and I want to acknowledge without doing much, the students of the Georgetown India Dialogue who have been the ones sort of running around making sure that all of this works, and also Faye and Daya from Asian Studies who have done all the behind the scenes work of ensuring that we had chairs for you to sit on, a room in which to meet, and food and coffee for you as well. So all of this wouldn't have happened without their efforts. Let me introduce to you our main speaker tonight. Srimati Poonam Mahajan is a member of parliament in the Lok Sabha, India's lower house. She represents the Mumbai North constituency. She is in fact my MP. That is,
that's the connect.
That is the connection. That is where I grew up, where my parents' flat still is. And so Poonam ji is in fact my MP, and it is a great honor to have her here. She has been in DC all week as a participant in the Georgetown Leadership Seminar. And as part of that week has been hearing both from Georgetown faculty and experts, but also going around Washington DC, talking to those interested in foreign policy, and as part of her own personal meetings, meeting with people on the Hill who are interested in engaging India. So her range of events that she's been part of this week would be exhausting if I had to enumerate. I mean, she got off a plane on Sunday, and since then, as far as I can tell, has had meetings from 8 in the morning to 10 at night every day. So any complaints you have?
Challenges as a country, we still have as a challenges. It's a complex country. We take many policies forward, but complexity of every state in India is so different. I always tell my friends, after every 100 kilometers, the dialect and the language completely changes. And that's the truth of India. And that kind of complexity, I don't think we see it anywhere, which is a strong democracy. I mean, how strong the fabric can be, where every 100 kilometers, 70 miles, the language changes, the dressing changes, the dialect changes, caste variation, regional variation, everything comes together, and still we are a strong democracy. Just 2 years of emergency has been, if you keep it aside, but we've been a very strong democracy. When the Prime Minister came here the second time, there was more engagement from the US side to India, looking at it, that how India is going to perform. Because thinking about, I've been understanding a lot of lectures, and frankly, the country is looking at China as a big challenge. Looking at Russia has always been a trouble. So how in those troubled times, India as a strong democracy who looks forward can come forward as a good ally. So that's what I've been seeing. I come from a city of Bollywood, Mumbai. My voters are actually Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan. I don't know if they voted for me, because they were a little hustled and tussled. If you just Google my name, I did have some problems with few stars because they were not following few rules. I would name them because I'll become famous, but I don't want to use that route. So yes, it's a very complex, again, a constituency which starts from Bandra. Anyone of you, I mean, are you from Mumbai, anyone of you? Okay, one person from Mumbai, 2 people from Mumbai. A big clap, okay, there are 10, 15. I don't know why you're so shy to take your hands up. So when you land in Mumbai, you see this beautiful Mumbai's demography of shanties. 80,000 shanties, and it's a little small runway which you land in, and you just look around and you smell the breath of fresh air of Mumbai, and you say, yes, we've landed here. And monsoons is worse. Yes, that's my constituency. That is my constituency. So the challenges are large. But luckily, in 2014, the entire thinking of this country completely changed. I see so many young faces who want to know what's happening in India. Being an Indian, I have never seen that. It never used to happen. I had my friends many, many years ago. Now everybody know my age, so I cannot even tell you it was just 5 years back or 2 years back. So many, many years ago, who could study abroad in good universities, but never ever thought of thinking of Indian politics, thinking of policies which will affect the country, which will affect...
Don't tell them, right? Poonam was elected in 2014 in a major victory in Bombay. She unseated a 2-term incumbent. The key to that was really mobilizing the youth vote. She herself, I think, qualifies as being part of that youth vote. At the age of 34, she is the youngest female national secretary of the BJP. She is both the youngest and the first woman president of the Basketball Federation of India. And she is clearly, in our opinion, and I think in the opinion of all those paying attention to Indian politics, a star on the rise, and that she is a name that we expect to hear about for a long time to come. There is one other personal connection that I want to make sure we acknowledge. Poonam's father, the late Prof Mahajan, was a very important politician both in Bombay and Maharashtra, but in Indian politics. And in '88, he was a participant in the Georgetown leadership seminar. So in that sense, Ms. Mahajan is a legacy to Georgetown, and we hope that the connection that we have renewed with you and your family is one that we can continue for many years to come. She has agreed to speak to you really extempore about her ideas about what she would like to accomplish over the years that she serves in Parliament, and also where she sees the current government. She is a member of the BJP, the ruling party, and so what she thinks we should expect to see over the next few years from Mr. Modi in the state of Maharashtra, from Mr. Fadnavis, the Chief Minister. I should have added that she is in fact the only politician to be a part of Mr. Fadnavis's war room, a group of individuals selected, handpicked by him to execute major projects in the state of Maharashtra. So her access to the policy levels is quite remarkable, and I'm going to hope that she'll be able to tell us about what we should expect to come. After that, I'll ask her some questions, and then really we'll hope for vigorous conversation. I've warned her that, of course, at a university like Georgetown, all questions are fair game as long as they're asked in a civil manner, and that she is more than capable of giving back as good as she gets. And so, you ask, she'll answer.
Indian Parliament friends, Indian Parliament.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what
She has survived in the Indian Parliament, so in some sense there's nothing you can do that will be too rude. But we hope that we'll put on our best face for her. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ms. Poonam Mahajan.
Okay, there is no mic. We are so used to looking at our best buddy every time to, that comforting thing is right next to me and I can take, it's very well recorded. Thank you. I have to not think and talk. Thankfully, I have nothing on my paper. Thank you, professors. Thank you very much for having me here.